you and Mike Myers have become super close, and that's one of the
really close.
reasons doing Wayne's World with Alice, and then doing the documentary together. And a lot of people refer to your house in Maui as like a very healing, positive place to be. And like could you what you can tell us, I guess, of like how have you developed such a unique place that so many people find like positive refuge in?
I always had the vision of, I think part of it's growing up, I never had people over. So I didn't have one of those houses where your friends came. Just never happened. I don't think it ever happened once growing up. So I always had a dream of having like a compound. I think my dream life is having a compound where there's a constant rotation of interesting new people who have actually affected our planet, who I could suck off of, and great meals, and no purpose other than the human fulfillment. And that's what I'm trying to sort of do here. You don't wear your shoes at levels you're off. I only have round tables, so there's no one ever left out of a conversation.
Oh, wow.
Really important. I leave an empty chair. There's always 2 or 3 of the most powerful people, and everyone knows who they are at a dinner party. So I try and leave an empty chair at each table for them to move around, so everybody gets a taste of it. Not have to look over at the other. How come I'm not sitting with at the A table? So they all become A tables. I'm really conscious of trying to really make the play. And it's Maui, which is,
Yeah.
and I've been really lucky to have a great circle of friends. I was gonna tell the Mike Myers thing because I think it's sort of an important lesson for young people coming up. Because no matter, you want to try, when you have conversations like this, it almost becomes like I don't have to wipe my ass with toilet paper. I'm so pure. And none of that is real. Times you have to compromise stuff. You have to choose. Life's a bitch. You got to choose what's more important. So like Mike Myers one is for me a really classic example. Never met Mike. Big fan of Mike. Got a phone call. They wanted Alice to do a song in Wayne's World. And in those, they wanted to do Schools Out in Wayne's World. In those days, the fastest path to radio play was being in a movie soundtrack. It was the Saturday Night Fevers, the Grease, the Kenny Loggins, the Rocky themes. If you were in a soundtrack, you got on radio. You may not have a hit, but at least you got it. You got on radio and had a chance to win. So when I got the call, fantastic soundtrack, but Schools Out was an old hit. I had a new single coming. I wanted to do the new single. I presented it to the studio. They went to Mike. Mike said, absolutely not. It's Schools Out. And they sent me the script. And it was only 12 or 13 seconds of the song. I mean, it was really fast. I remember in the movie, it's just really, Alice is playing live, but it's fast. It's like, I think it was 15 seconds. So I went to Alice and I said, listen, I'm going to do something that's out of character for me and you. You're going to have to take the heat because you're going to be there filming. I'm going to lie to these people. And I told them why. I said, I want to get the new single in the movie. If I tell them we're doing Schools Out, and then the night before, like at midnight, say, no, we're not, they won't have time to get anyone else.
Yeah.
They have to go along with us. But you're going to be treated like a piece of shit on the set. Everybody's going to hate you because they're going to think it came from you. But we got to do it. So I called the studio. They said, they called me back. Mike Myers wants to see you at 7. So I went into Mike. And I told him the truth. I said, but, and he was freaking out. And I said, listen, I don't know if you guys told you, what I told them was, we're going to do this new song. And we're really sorry, but we'll give you Schools Out for free for the end credits. You don't have to pay us. You can use the whole thing, do anything you want to do with it. You get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking, you're like really uptight. And so we did it and did the song. It wasn't a hit, but we got on radio. And I always felt bad about it because I don't like doing that. But sometimes you got to, my fiduciary capacity as Alice's manager overrode my lying to Warner Brothers, who are the biggest scumbags in the world. They would lie to me in 1 second about anything. They would take my last crumb of food if I was starving to death. So maybe 2 years later, and I used to get the sheet from the Four Seasons of who was in the hotel. And I see Mike Myers is there under an alias. And it just so happened that night I was having a luau at my house with Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Whoopi Goldberg and a whole bunch of people. So I wrote up a note and I said, "Hi, my name's Shep Gordon. I don't know if you remember me. I'm the guy who fucked John Wayne's World." I said, "I'm really sorry. I hope you understood why I did it. My responsibility was to Alice, not to you. And I'm really sorry. I usually don't do things like that. I hope you've gotten over it. I'd love to, do anything I can to make you feel better and let you know how bad we feel about it. I'm having this luau tonight with Stallone, and please come and join us." So he tells the story. He says, "So I get this note from this fucking guy who I hate." and I know that he's lying because he's a fucking liar. He lied to me about Alice. Now he's trying to get me to come to his house, lying to me that Sylvester Stallone and all that. That's the fucking liar. He says, "So I'm going to his house just to bust him." And he said, he made dinner reservations somewhere else. And he came over just to bust me that they weren't there. And there they were.
Oh my, that's amazing.
We had the luau. And I ended up, he drank a little, so I had a chance, he vented his frustrations, how pissed he was at me, but he admitted that it really didn't hurt the film and blah, blah, blah. And then he said that he was going through a really rough time. His dad had just passed, I think. He was going through a really rough time. And I said, "Why don't you come and hang out? I'll stay out of your way. You won't even see me." At that time, I had a house next door. And I said, "This place is really healing." And he said, "Can I come for a day or two and get out of the hotel? I'm really weird about people." And I said, "Absolutely, just come. You won't even know I'm next door." And which ended up different because I ended up cooking dinner for him every night. And he spent 35 days, 40 days.
Wow.
And it
That's
was just
incredible.
So I think the reason I tell that story for young people is always be honest. Sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do. But be honest about it. Don't make up stupid stories and lies and get into. If you're honest with people and your motives are really genuine, you can get through stuff. Honesty is a real key. No, we're all fucked, but not, humans are tough. So anyway, that's a story I like to tell because we've become such great friends. He certainly has changed my life. I mean, remarkable.
Yeah, I love that story and that lesson. It's tough when you're in those situations, but it's like the light of consciousness.
Holding a round square peg or whatever, you just, as hard as you try to make it all, and then you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And I can't say that my choice was right or wrong, but it certainly was out of complete self-interest. But I didn't feel like I was hurting his movie. I made my own judgments for him, which right or wrong. And you move on.
Thank you for watching Studio 22.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And follow our socials at Studio 22 Podcast.